That's the key thing for me is being able to, since I already use this truck for work, it just continues to make sense to be able to use this truck going forward into the new business. Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel, and in today's video I'd like to share with you, finally, I've had several people ask me what truck do I use to be able to haul my dump trailer around. What is the truck that I'm going to be using in the future, and just kind of my thoughts on the truck to be able to make this kind of situation happen for the dumpster rental business. So for me, it's a little bit of a different situation. I've already had this truck for several years now. I bought this 2012 Ram 3500 dually truck in 2016. It was February 8th, 2016, and this truck actually was a kind of an answer to a prayer because my situation before that, I bought a Ford 05 and had a 6.0 liter engine in there, Power Stroke, and if you know anything about those engines, if they are not bulletproofed, if they're not taken really well care of, your engine's probably gonna have some major issues. And guess what? That's exactly what happened to me in my situation. I bought that several months before. I got into RV transport, which is my other business, my other job that I'm coming from to start this business here. And I got a month into the job, just hauled a few trailers, and the engine blew up basically in Missouri. I didn't have the money to fix it, and so I simply had to just trade it in and take a pretty big loss, about $9 grand worth, and I traded it in for this beast. At the time, it had 79,000 miles on it. I believe it was 27.7 out the door, plus my $9 grand added on to it. It was a shiny in much better condition truck then. This came free of charge here, and I'll show you a little bit later some little dings and dents that have happened since then, but overall it was a really clean truck at the time, and I was hopeful. I've heard good things about the Cummins engine, that it lasts for forever if you take regular maintenance and just take good care of it. And so I put this truck to work for me for the RV transporting industry for the last about 5 years now. And this thing now has 595,000 miles. And I get a lot of questions just in all over the place. How are you putting that many miles on this truck? How is it lasting over 500,000 miles? That's crazy. The truth is, with these engines, these diesel engines, if you're changing your filters, your oil, all your other fluids, and you're just doing routine maintenance, there's not that many things that go out. There's just a few things along the way that generally happen, and especially with the emission stuff, as you probably already know. So for me, it's just been routine maintenance, and some things that I kind of self-inflicted upon myself with things I tried that didn't work. But overall, it's been a great truck for me. It can go hundreds of thousands of miles. I'm hoping to get to 1 million. I'm real close to 600,000. I do have the Cummins High Mileage Club little placards or whatever. I've got all the way up to 500. So as soon as I hit 600, I'll be paying like $10 or so to get the 600 little placard thing. I'll put that link to that for the Cummins High Mileage Club in the description below. But overall, this truck has been great for me for that endeavor, that business, being an independent contractor. If you're interested about learning about that, my other channel is fully devoted to RV transport. That's where I come from, so go ahead and check that out. I'll put that in the description below as well. But this is the truck that I've used to haul campers across the country for the last 500,000 miles. And it's done very well for me overall. It's left me on the side of the road a couple times for some small things, and then I had some bigger things, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit later. But overall, this diesel truck, this dually, has just been great. I've really enjoyed it. I definitely appreciate the Ram, the Cummins engine. The transmissions are kind of the weak point that a lot of people talk about. I'm still on my original transmission. it has lasted this long, and I'm grateful for every mile I put on there. I do try to take good care of my fluids and filters for that transmission. But going into this new industry of having a dumpster rental business, I knew that I was going to probably be using this truck still when I'm at home. When I'm not out on the road, I'm going to continue to use this around town. The dually does play a little bit of a factor, maybe with backing it up into maybe grassy areas, maybe a little bit if the grass or ground is not firm, it may be a little sketchy with having the dually. I definitely don't want to cause any issues in people's yards if I do have to put a trailer in someone's yard like that, backing it up. But overall, this is the truck I'm going to continue using. I will just say this, because I am wanting to come off of the road more and get deeper and deeper into this dumpster rental business. I am wanting to shift a little bit away from the dually to a single rear wheel. And it's my opinion, this is a 1-ton truck. This is able to, it does it all. Anything that I would need it for, it can do it all. But what I'm considering doing is kind of maybe retiring this. As I still go out on the road partially in the future, I'll probably always have a small amount of time to do RV transport. Probably for the rest of my life. It's just so convenient to me. It's so easy to do. I set my own schedule. I do what I want to do. So I'll probably always use this truck for doing the RV transport. But for this specific business, what I'm hoping to do in the future, when there's money available for that, I'm wanting to get a Ram 2500 single rear wheel, of course, and just kind of use that. I believe a 3/4 ton truck would be more than enough to do the job for what we're hauling around. These maybe 14, 16 foot dump trailers, or maybe even you have a roll-off system, a gooseneck. I think that would be more than enough, and it would be fine. My experience being out on the road, towing things around. I don't have my CDL. I am considering getting my CDL to be able to make that happen going forward for much heavier options down the road if this business continues to grow like it is here for me. But I am just considering that 2500, kind of shifting it down. I don't need quite as much for some of these heavier things. The 2500 is more than enough to handle it, and just for the simple fact of tires, fuel economy, and I don't need that more heavy duty of a truck. It'll still have the same engine. It'll probably still have the same transmission. And just going around town, I just don't need the dualies as much. My main job out on the road with the RV transport, having the duals, it makes my life so much safer, in my opinion, with going out on the road and having high wind or rain. No matter how many tires you have, even semis, of course, at some point it does really become dangerous out on the road, and you just need to pull off. But having these dualies has been exceptional for handling, for safety, stability out on the road, hauling a travel trailer or a fifth wheel. And it's just been easy for me to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you, just kind of go around the truck and show you what it's all got going on, kind of my setup, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about what I've had to replace and what I've done. But seriously, guys, if you have a diesel truck, which I really recommend you having a diesel truck to be able to do this job. The parts may be more expensive. The overall cost is going to be for sure more expensive. But I'm telling you, if you're in this for the long haul, this is the long play for your business. A gas truck, it's going to be cheaper out the gate. But doing a 1/2 ton or maybe even a gas 3/4 ton, kind of the hybrid of the middle there, man, if you're going to go that big, you might as well go with the diesel that's going to last so much longer. The parts, again, like I said, might be a little bit more expensive overall, but I believe it's going to last that much longer or even more. I seriously plan on getting a million miles out of this truck, and I know many other people who do. And it's not city miles, it's highway miles that I've put on this truck. But these trucks are made to last. They're not exactly, going to last as many as maybe a semi would, but having a diesel engine, having this diesel truck, it's peace of mind for the long term for me. If you take care of it, maintenance, it's going to last and do you right. So we'll go ahead and do kind of a walk around here and get into it. All right, so as you can kind of see, I've definitely got some dings and some dents and scratches along the way here. This one came free of charge when I first bought it, as well as the grill being messed up here. But that's kind of the cost that comes with a truck that, well, since then I've put even more dings and dents and scratches along the entire truck. And that's just kind of comes with the territory. I've never actually had a blown out tire. I have the original transmission, of course, the original engine itself, the Cummins 6.7. I did just replace my turbo. If you do ever see some oil spots on my driveway back here or my front driveway in the front, that is because my turbo had a blown oil seal, and it was starting to shoot oil through the turbo into my intake and then back up all the way into the top of the engine. So as you can tell, that is not good. So I had several leaks here. I'm going to try to power wash that out, hopefully on the driveway here. But basically, I've only had to replace my turbo. I've replaced a lot of small things on the belt, a lot of pulleys over the last 600,000 miles. I did preemptively get an AirDog 2 4G fuel pump instead of the factory, as they're kind of somewhat known to go out. I did have to replace my injectors at 400,000 miles, just a hair over that. So that lasted quite a while. I've replaced brakes maybe a couple times now, wheel hub assemblies, ball joints, couple track bars, but pretty much everything else, fluids, filters. It's treated me right because I've treated it right to the best of my ability. My transfer case did blow up. I do have four-wheel drive. It did blow up at 450,000 miles, I think. I don't really use four-wheel drive, but because it is always spinning in motion, it eventually the belt got loose, and it started kind of clanging around like your keys would hit another metal thing, and it just sounded like that, and I just knew, oh dear, this thing's about to blow up. Thankfully, it didn't actually blow up, but it just had a leak. Had a couple little small holes from the belt slapping it so much inside, but nothing blew up, didn't grenade the transmission, thankfully. But just had a lot of small things along the way, and really just the turbo, just as of now, 593,000 I think I had when it blew up, and then the injectors at a little over 400,000. So this truck has really done me well over the long haul here, and I plan to continue using it until I can't afford a newer truck. I'm considering buying a brand new truck so that I know every single filter fluid has been changed correctly, because I'm the person who's going to be doing it. I've really, since I started this job, I've learned how to do pretty much all the general things on this truck. Maybe a few things I'm still a little nervous about, but I'm by no means a mechanic. But I do have confidence in a lot of things because of YouTube, people who have helped me out so many times. This truck, I've really had to learn how to work on a truck, because it just costs so much money to have somebody else do the work for you. And so I have kind of taken upon myself to buy all the tools, to set my garage up to where I can take care of my truck. I like helping other people out. I like helping with them with their truck, and getting their maintenance stuff done. So yeah, this truck has been good for me. I will continue to buy Rams going forward, whether that is the 2500 in the future here, like I'm thinking I'm going to. We'll kind of see how that unfolds. It would be a great position to be able to have this still running and have the 2500 available to me. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, this is my truck. As you could kind of see in the back there, I do have a auxiliary fuel tank. That is a 116 gallon fuel tank. It's a monster. I do have a switch in the cab. I just flip it on, and it has a inline filter and pump, and so it's able to draw out of the tank and put directly into my main tank for the truck. And then from there, obviously, it goes through. And then I have a fifth wheel. I do have that as a drop-in fifth wheel, so I do have the capability of having the gooseneck hookup and all that, of course. It's not the rail system, it's just a drop-in gooseneck fifth wheel hitch. And then I have a fifth wheel toolbox in the back as well. That's been really good for me, having tools available to me out on the road. I like to keep parts on hand, known parts like a water pump or a belt, or maybe an alternator, or there's a variety of different things I do keep on there. I did make a video about that on my other channel. If you want to go search that out, you can find that video. But yeah, I do really want to keep this truck on the road as much as possible, as long as possible, going forward. I want to run this until it literally disintegrates. I'm going to replace everything I can, do everything I can. The next real big thing that probably would happen is the transmission would go, and I've got a maintenance account fund that I hold back for, and a kind of a catastrophic account for these kind of things. So this is built into my other system for my other job, essentially. And the real big thing is, being able to utilize this truck for both businesses. That's the key thing for me, is being able to, since I already use this truck for work, it just continues to make sense to be able to use this truck going forward into the new business. Essentially for me, because I'm able to write off so many things for the RV transport side of things. Now, because I'm using this for the actual dumpster rental business, I'm going to be able to, for tax purposes, I'm going to be able to write off some of these things and take money from the dumpster business and invest it into my truck here as well, to be able to kind of offset some of those taxes, putting the money right back into the business. So that'll be good. In the future, maybe we'll talk about that going forward. So this is my truck that I'm using for the dumpster rental business. It's a little bit of an overkill, in my opinion, for the dumpster business, especially with the duals and it being a 1 ton. I don't think it has to be. Maybe if you were really cranking some massive a roll-off system and really pulling everyday heavy crazy stuff, okay, maybe a 1 ton is kind of the bare minimum you would want to go with. But honestly, I think a 3/4 ton would be just perfectly fine, especially for what I'm kind of wanting to do, my setup in the future, my vision for the business. I think that'll be fine. So let me know down in the comments below what you are using or what you're wanting to use. Again, I would encourage you not to get a gas 1/2 ton to be able to do this job. The long-term effect of running a 1/2 ton truck when you're operating a dumpster rental business, when you've got a at least a 4,000-ish pound trailer, plus however much is actually in there. It's just the idea of really barely being able to meet the expectation of what it can do, rather than having a little bit something overpowered that's going to last so much longer in the long term. The amount of life in the parts on this truck compared to maybe a semi, it's not even in the same ballpark. There's semis that go a couple million miles or even more. There's parts on semi trucks that last just twice or 3 times as long as this truck does, and the same kind of from this truck down to the next level. And so there's a serious component to coming down to deciding what truck you're going to be getting to do this business with. I'm kind of the opinion of just slightly overkill is just right, because being slightly overkill, those parts are going to be able to withstand a lot more. It won't be as much of a beating on the truck hauling the trailer around all around town. City miles on a truck are a lot worse than highway miles. It goes for fluids, it goes for moving parts, it goes for a lot of these other things. Even just your oil. A lot of people say, well, you've got to change your oil at 10,000 miles or maybe 15 at the most. Well, I can tell you from experience, I get my oil tested. Highway miles are not the same for oil as city miles, especially with time involved. I can go 20, 25,000. I've gone even further than that with documentation from a oil analysis company. When I sent my oil away to be tested, they have confirmed the oil sample was excellent, everything was in good condition, and the oil had even more life, and they recommended to go even longer. So there's a huge difference between highway miles and city miles, and so I would recommend kind of going slightly overkill, which is, in my opinion, is a 3/4 ton or even a 1 ton if you got a good deal on it. And you were confident with the service record, having all the maintenance done to it, and they didn't kind of beat it to death and put it away wet and that whole thing. So anyways, let me know what you think about my setup. I know there's lots of people out there with different trucks. I'm a firm Ram or really Cummins believer at this point. I'm probably not going to be straying that far away from the Cummins in the future, and just really excited about what this business holds. This truck is an asset to me. I've got to maintain and reinvest money back into my assets to make sure, because if this goes down, I'm in big trouble for both of my businesses. So I want to make sure that I'm putting money back for my maintenance account for this truck, maybe bigger issues that come up along the way, so that I can know for a fact I'm going to be able to afford getting this truck taken care of, and I don't have to wonder, is this the end of my business? What's the answer? How am I going to afford this? I didn't set any money back for any of this stuff. What am I going to do? I didn't have any maintenance account, anything ready to go, and now I'm in a real pickle because I've spent money on other stuff. I'm not going to have to worry about that. I would suggest you also make sure that you're holding money back for your maintenance, for catastrophic issues with your truck going down the road. So with all that being said, hopefully you have a great day today, guys. Stay safe and God bless.